Hello, first graders. It's Miss Murphy, and I'm here to read you a story. This story is called A Fine, Fine School. This is the title of the story. We notice it's super big at the top so that we can see it. A Fine, Fine School. The author of this story is Sharon Creech. She wrote this story. And the pictures are by Harry Bliss. He drew all the pictures that you see on this story. Do you remember what the name of the person is that draws the pictures? The author writes the book, and the what draws the pictures? The illustrator. Good job. So the illustrator draws the pictures. Let's look at this cover a little bit more. This girl here has a huge backpack. Why do you think she has a huge backpack? Let's look at some of these little sticky notes. The sticky notes on her backpack say science test on Christmas, midnight quiz on Sunday, even bigger test on Tuesday, massive test on your birthday. Why does she have a test on her birthday and a quiz on Sunday night and a test on Christmas? Those are days that we're not at school, right? Let's find out. Mr. Keene was a principal who loved his school. I can think about our principal at our school, Miss Jones. She loves our school too. So Mr. Keene was a principal who loved his school. Every morning he strolled down the hallway and saw the children in their classes. He saw them learning shapes and colors and numbers and letters. He saw them reading and writing and drawing and painting. He saw them making dinosaurs and forts and pyramids. Oh, he would say, aren't these fine children? Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school? So look at all of these kids in their fine, fine school, learning, they're drawing, they're building, exploring. This is kind of like what we do at our school. And here I see Mr. Keene, the principal, looking in the rooms. Near Mr. Keene's school, Tilly lived with her parents and her brother and her dog, Beans, in a small house next to a big tree. So we see Tilly and her brother and her dog. What was his name? Beans. You're right. And they lived in a house near the school. So this girl, Tilly, is who we're talking about. On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went to school. Just like you go to school on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, here's Tilly, and she goes to school those days too. Think about what days we usually stay home from school, right? At school, Tilly learns her shapes and colors and numbers and letters, and sometimes when she saw Mr. Keene standing in the hallway, he would wave. Aren't these fine children, he said to himself. Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school? Here's Mr. Keene waving and Tilly waving back. On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, Tilly climbs her favorite tree. She takes Beans on walks and throws him sticks, and she pushes her brother on a swing and tried to teach him how to skip. So on the weekends, Tilly is not at school. She gets to play and hang out with her family. But on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. Beans, her brother, did not like to see her go. Hurry, hurry, hurry home, her brother called. So I'm guessing her little brother is still too little to go to school, but Tilly is going to school during the week. One day, Mr. Keene called all the students and teachers together and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Saturdays too." What do we think about that? What would you do if Mrs. Jones called us all together and said, "We're going to have school on Saturdays too"? The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays. But no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers, of all the learning they were doing every day. Let's look at this picture. Mr. Keene looks very happy to tell everyone he wants more learning. But the kids look confused, scared. The teachers, you can see, also look the same way. They don't know how to tell Mr. Keene. What should they say? They shouldn't not tell him. What should they say? Think about it. How should they tell Mr. Keene they don't want to go to school on Saturdays too? But so, that Saturday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Saturday. What about the swings?" her brother said. The following month, Mr. Keene announced, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Sundays too." Is he kidding? They're going to go to school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's every single day. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Sundays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers of all the learning they were doing every day. So Mr. Keene up here looks super excited to go to school every day. How does everybody else look? Here's Tilly back here. How does everybody else look? Yeah, not too happy. What do you think of Mr. Keene's idea? Do you think we should go to school every day? I don't know. And so that Sunday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Sunday. What about the skipping?" her brother said. So here is her brother on this page. Sorry. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and said, "This is such a fine," what's he going to say? "Fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on holidays too. On Easter and Ramadan and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah, all the holidays on the calendar." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on the holidays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers of all the learning they were doing every day. They do not want to go. So at first they were confused. Now I see this little girl. I don't know who she is, but it's one of the students. What's she doing? How is she feeling? Yeah, not good. And so on Christmas, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Christmas! What about Christmas?" her brother called. So here she is going to school on Christmas. How do you think she feels? How do you think she feels going to school on Christmas? Not able to open her presents. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school from now on. Let's have school in the summer too. All summer long, every single day." So here he is setting up the summer schedule, June and July. We never have school in the summer. What is going on? What do you think Mr. Keene will say next? They're going to school every single day. What do you think Mr. Keene is going to say next? "How much will we learn?" he said. "We can learn everything. We'll learn all about the numbers, letters, colors, and shapes, the Romans and the Egyptians and the Greeks. We'll learn about dinosaurs and castles and everything. We will learn everything." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays and all summer long, every single day. But no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers, of all the learning they were doing every day. Look at this picture. How do the kids look? Look at some of these kids. This one looks like she's passed out. This one looks very stressed out and upset. Here's Tilly here. She can't even believe it. What are they going to do? Is somebody going to tell Mr. Keene that they cannot go to school every single day? And so, on the first day of summer, Tilly set off for school. "But it's summer. What about summer?" her brother said. Here she goes, off to school, looking very sad, and her brother confused. And that day, Tilly went to see Mr. Keene. She'd had enough. What do you think Tilly's going to say to Mr. Keene? She stood in his office in front of his desk. "What a fine, fine school this is," Mr. Keene said. "What an amazing things everyone is learning." "Yes," Tilly said, "we certainly are learning some amazing things. A fine, fine school," Mr. Keene said. "But," Tilly said, "not everyone is learning." What does she mean, not everyone is learning? "What?" Mr. Keene said. He looked very worried. Who? Who isn't learning? Tell me, and I will see and make sure that they learn." "My dog Beans hasn't learned how to sit," Tilly said, "and he hasn't learned how to jump." "Oh," Mr. Keene said. "Why hasn't her dog Beans been able to learn anything?" "Yeah, because she's been at school this whole time. And my little brother hasn't learned how to swing or skip." "Oh," Mr. Keene said. Here's her brother trying to swing by himself. Why hasn't he learned how to swing or skip? "And she said, "But you go to school," Mr. Keene said, "to our fine, fine school." "True," Tilly said, "but I haven't learned how to climb a tree, and I haven't learned how to sit in my tree for an hour." "Oh," said Mr. Keene. So Mr. Keene is looking very confused. Do you think he's going to rethink his idea? Tilly can't play outside. She can't teach her dog, her brother. She can't teach herself how to do her hobbies. That day, Mr. Keene walked up and down the halls looking at the children and the teachers. Up and down he walked, up and down, up and down. What is Mr. Keene seeing in this picture? I see a child brushing his teeth. I see another girl holding a lot of books and a boy. Do these kids look happy? No, they're tired. They've been going to school for so long. How does Mr. Keene look? Think about it. The next morning, Mr. Keene called everyone together. What do you think he's going to say? Let's make a prediction. What do you think he's going to say? The children and the teachers were very worried. Let's take a look at them. They're wondering, what's he going to say? Is he going to make us go to school more at night too? Mr. Keene said, "This is a fine, fine school with fine, fine children and fine, fine teachers, but not everyone is learning." The children and the teachers were very, very worried still. Mr. Keene said, "There are dogs who need to learn how to sit and how to jump." What did he mean? Was he going to make the dogs come to school? There are little brothers and sisters who need to learn how to swing and how to skip. What did he mean? Was he going to make their younger brothers and sisters come to school too? The children and the teachers were very, very worried. Here is what it would be like if a dog was at school and her little brother was at school. And you, all of you children and teachers, you need to learn how to climb a tree and sit in it for an hour, Mr. Keene said. The children and the teachers were very worried. Was he going to make them climb a tree at school? And so, from now on, we will... Oh, goodness, they're dreading it. What do you think he's going to say? Not have school on Saturdays or Sundays or holidays or in the summer. A huge, enormous, roaring cheer soared up to the ceiling and floated out the windows so that everyone in the town heard the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers shout, "Fine, fine, fine," they shouted. How do you think they feel now that they don't have to go to school? Let's take a look at Tilly. I can see her there with the red curly hair. And the teachers, they're shouting and cheering. How do they feel? Let's look. This sign says, "You gotta love it." And this sign up here says, "Free at last." And the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers lifted Mr. Keene up, and they carried him down the hallway and out the doors and through the town, up and down, in and out. And everywhere they went, the people said, "What a fine, fine school with such fine, fine teachers and fine, fine children and a fine, fine principal." Here they are, very happy. And Tilly is with her brother, looking very happy with the other kids. What made Mr. Keene change his mind? Think about what made Mr. Keene change his mind. Yeah, Tilly. Tilly, our main character here, our most important character, changed his mind by reminding him that we have important things to do at home too. So thanks for listening to the story, and I'll see you soon. Bye.